Hey guys, how are you doing? This is Mo from Mo in the Deep End, and we are going to be covering the LISK trial today, or not trial, but the new stuff. So give me 1 second. Mr. Mo is calling like it is his job. So let me see what he needs. 1 second, y'all. Woohoo! We get our dead trees cut down, which is why Mr. Mo was talking to me. So I get to see men with chainsaws, which really, I mean, I'll pay for that. Hey guys, yeah, no, so I got my lashes done and my eyebrows done, and Jamie is right. It is super duper fun, except when a phone rings and you try to open your eyes and they're all but the lady was a real sweet lady, and 2 hours of just laying down and not talking to her, not having to be asked anything. What in the w y'all are silly. Okay, where in the world I always assume that I am not gonna be a hot mess. Future me always is gonna have something, on we are gonna be on top of it, and I never am. But I'm glad I'm still positive that I could be off, I could be not a hot mess. So today we are going to be looking at the bail application, and it is 32 pages long, so we may not get through that, and it looks like the press conference is about 45 minutes to an hour, so depending on, how long this goes, we will try to do that because I do have tree cutters coming apparently, and I know phrasing. Sal, I already figured it out, it's phrasing. But let's pull this up. Now, the 32 pages, it looks like it's almost, thank you, Jamie. I'm getting used to it. I will tell you honestly, last night it took a little bit of getting used to. I was like, "Attack spider on my eye, attack spider," because I went Salvador, just can't. And I will do a recommendation. So, um, I don't know how many of you guys sit in a chair all day or do stuff, but let me show you. Excuse my being a little bit. The chair cushions from the Cushion Lab, okay, very good. So if you're sitting and I mean, they are pricey, I'm not gonna lie to you, and I got them in, bright purple because I knew Mr. Mo was gonna try to steal them because 'cause I'm a little bit of a I'm a little bit of a butthole, to be honest, but I got the 3 thing, and y'all, I'm telling you, yesterday was great, but it was super cold in that place, and it's my first time doing any of this, so I didn't know if I could bring my own heating pad. So, last night, my leg was like, "No, ma'am. No, ma'am. We are done." So, we will get started with what we're doing instead of being on a tangent. So, this is and they have pictures. It's amazing. Now, I don't know how to get this little doodad over here off, but let's see if I can figure this out. Well, it'll be okay. So this is the County Court of Suffolk County, State of New York, and it is the bail application for Rex A. Heuermann. Defendant Rex A. Heuermann stands before this court charged by the grand jury with murder in the first degree in violation of New York like, penal law. I knew we were going to get in here and we were going to talk about peens. Mr. Mo asks all the time, "What do y'all do all day?" I was like, "Well, it generally devolves into peen and boob talk." And he's like, "I would expect nothing less from you." At least, it's nice when the person you love knows you enough to know that everything just devolves into 12th grade humor or 12-year-old humor. A Class A1 felony for death of Melissa Bartholomé on or about July 10th, 2009. Murder in the first degree in violation of New York State Penal Section blah, blah, blah. Class A felony for the death of Megan Waterman on or about June 6, 2010. Murder in the first degree in violation of New York State blah, blah, blah for Amber Costello on or about September 2nd, 2010. Murder in the second degree in violation of New York State penal law. It's like karma. I have 6 kids, they just kinda gravitate towards me. I mean, the shop is closed. There will be no more child baking, but apparently the universe just sends them to me, or that's my story. Let's see. Okay, so they already did. I guess they're doing murder in the second degree, so they're stacking the charges. So they've also got him for murder in the second degree for Melissa Bartholomé, for Megan Waterman, and for Amber Costello. As described below, based on the serious, heinous nature of these serial murders, the planning and forethought that went into these crimes, the strength of the people's case, the length of incarceration the defendant faces upon conviction, the extended period of time that this defendant was able to avoid apprehension, his searches for sadistic materials, child abuse material, images of the victims and their relatives, counter surveillance conducted online as to the criminal investigation, his use of fictitious names, burner email, burner email and cell phone accounts, and his access to and history of possessing firearms. So I believe it will come out that he had permits for, I think, 92 guns or weapons. Okay, so this is the man that is accused of doing the Long Island serial killer. I guess so. Um, there were a bunch of, I think it will go to describe that, but there were, I believe, up to 11 victims found in sort of the same area of Long Island as, John Gary would say, and, most of them were women that had fallen into advertising on Craigslist, if you will. And this man is accused of negotiating a deal with them, luring them out there or to his office, unaliving them, and then putting their bodies, on Gilgo Beach for 4 of the victims and very close surrounding, areas. Yes, this person just was arrested, I believe, last Friday. It broke. And it seems that it was, the culmination of a 2-year, investigative task force. And there has been some controversy because it took so long. I mean, as you see, if you go back up, I mean, these murders or unalivings started either in 2009 to 2010 and possibly earlier, depending on what they find. Now, there was a lot of controversy because it seemed to people, and you can look at it through this lens, that the police did not do their very best because these were women that were in high risk lifestyle choices or lifestyles at least. But there is also a competing um, theory or a competing factor. Both things can be true at the same time. The sheriff or chief sheriff or the guy on top was dirty as all get out, like boss hog levels of, you know, stuff, and he was kind of slow walking this particular investigation. So, while I don't think it was entirely that these women were in high risk things and, the cops thought they were throwaways, I don't think that was all the case. I think it was more that there was a lot of corruption there, and I'm going to dig more into that and see if I can get information about, what the sheriff was charged with, what was going on. I did yesterday do a video that went through, the author of Lost Girls, and there is a Netflix, documentary, mockumentary, not a mockumentary, but either a series or just one documentary, named Lost Girls about this case. And I think I might see if Jamie wants to, not live stream, but Discord that someday, and we can watch that together, and because Jamie knows all the things on the Discord, and I do not. Also, this is the as the queen of run-on sentences, this entire paragraph was one sentence, and I salute you, sir. Yeah, I've been trying to just say "lisk," um, or the because John Gary has been nice, he's been putting down, phonetic kind of spellings, but y'all I know. Yes, they are all the same. These are all the same, so, um, I've just been calling it the Long Island serial killer, but yeah, these are all the same case. It looks like there are up to 11 victims, and I think this is going to go all into it. Um, what I'm looking at, it looks like the bail application form might also kind of be the probable cause affidavit, just with the length and what they get into. And yes, I phrasing. I know. I already know Sal. Phrasing. But, I believe that with 32 pages, we're gonna go through a lot, and maybe it'll start making more sense because right now there's just a lot of chatter, and I'm trying to get the audiobook of Lost Girls, and possibly just watching the documentary will really help us kind of figure out what's going on. That's good. No, it y'all, okay, so I will be completely honest with you. So last night, being in a cold room, for about an hour and a half, she was a sweet girl. I picked an apprentice because Jamie's right. Jamie needs a fund. This staying beautiful is expensive. So I went to a gal that's learning, and she did a wonderful job, and she was so sweet, but the cold darn near killed my leg. And so oh, oh, on Long Island. You know, my first name may be Marissa, but I am not Tomei. So I'm gonna have to work on that. I'm going to need a well, a Long Island, voice coach. Any hoozle, I was not doing well last night. So the day after, I call it a pangover because it's kind of a pain hangover. So if I get a little lost today more than usual, which who the hell knows how much that's gonna happen, that is my excuse. I'm I'm doing fine today, but there's still kind of a residual sort of fogginess that comes a little bit. All right, discovery of the victims. Oh my well, that is awesome. I don't know if look, y'all, I tried to do the magnetic ones, and I ended up looking like, Lucille Ball on Yours, Mine, and Ours, one of my favorite movies, but her eyebrows were about up here, her slip was about, like, down on the floor. It was a hot mess express. Okay, let's see here. Discovery of the victims. On December 11th, 2010, Officer John Mela was conducting a training exercise with his canine partner, Blue, along Ocean Parkway in Gilgo Beach, Suffolk County, New York. During the course of the training exercise, Blue located a set of human remains. The remains were later identified to be those of Melissa Bartholomé. 2 days later, on September 13th, 2010, the SCPD continued to search in the proximity to where the remains of Melissa Bartholomé were discovered. Oh, well, that's cool. I didn't know you could get anti-eyebrow movement stuff. I'm learning all the girl things now. It is amazing what we can do with some makeup. On that date, members of SCPD found 3 additional sets of human remains within 1/4 mile of the first discovery. See image below. These additional sets of remains were identified as those of Maureen Brainerd Barnes, Megan Waterman, Amber Costello. The cause of death of all 4 women was determined to be homicidal violence. So, this does give a really good picture, and I don't know if I can blow this up. Let me see. No, wait, maybe in begin? Aha, I am a genius in my own mind. Fear me. So this gives a really good idea, especially for those of us who are geographically and, well, just cannot tell directions to save our lives. 1 second, maybe these are the tree cutters. Oh, wait, no, it's potential spam, but I still need to check it. It's another o it was spam, so it's another one of those y'all, I am just telling you, um, there is a new scam out there where they are trying to tell you you have taken out a, like a payday loan. Now, the problem they are having with this scam, because I've been through this before, is that they're saying that I took this out in 2016, and they have, my W-2s, which would be, hysterical because I haven't really worked outside the home since 2011. And they seem to get mad when you tell them these things, but watch out, they've got a lot of information that sounds legit, but it is no, no, it is not true. So, I hope this I was like, "I can embiggen things, I'm so proud of me." Sorry. So, this gives a really good representation of where they found the first 4 bodies, and hopefully they will go through and, explain where they found the other bodies because I don't believe this man ever stopped, to be very honest with you. I think he, continued to terrorize. I think we just haven't found things that we've been looking for. I'm gonna put it out just a little bit. The investigation into these deaths were linked as, in addition to other factors, the victims each appeared to have been placed in close proximity to one another, 22 to 20 or to 33 feet from the edge of the parkway. They were all petite females, approximately 22 to 27 years old, believed to be working as Craigslist workers. All had missing clothing and personal possessions. All had been killed by homicide. All had been contact shortly before their disappearance with a person using a burner cell phone, i.e., cell phones without associated verified identity. The cell phones of the 2 and the cell phones of the 2 of the 4 victims. Okay, and there is a note, or a footnote. Although the defendant is not yet charged with any crimes as to the disappearance and murder of Miss Brainerd Barnes as set forward below, defendant Rex A. Heuermann is the prime suspect in her death, and the investigation, which is continuing and expected to be resolved soon. Moreover, there is substantial evidence of defendant Heuermann's involvement in the disappearance and death of Miss Brainerd Barnes, which evidence closely fits the modus operandi of the defendant in relation to the deaths of the other 3 women, which supports the current charges. As such, this bail application contains descriptions of the evidence which demonstrates the strength of the people's case as currently charged. Oh, okay. I y'all are knowing all this. You guys know all the things about girlness. I'm like, "Okay, no idea." Brainerd Barnes and Bartholomew were used by the killers after their death. In addition, each of the 4 victims were found similarly positioned, bound in a similar fashion by either belts or tape with 3 of the victims found wrapped in burlap-type material. Recent investigation. On January 2022, the Suffolk County District Attorney's Office assigned an experienced team of investigators, analysts, and prosecutors to work jointly with the law enforcement partners from the Suffolk County Police Department, New York State Police, Suffolk County Sheriff's Office, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation. A comprehensive review of every item of evidence and information in this investigation was undertaken by the team. On March 14th, 2022, approximately 2 months into the renewed joint investigation, this comprehensive review led to the discovery of a first-generation Chevrolet Avalanche that was registered to the defendant, Rex A. Heuermann, at the time of these murders. As described below, this was significant because a witness to the disappearance of Amber Costello identified a first-generation Chevrolet Avalanche as the vehicle believed to have been driven by her killer. This discovery led to a comprehensive investigation of defendant Heuermann, which consisted of over 300 subpoenas, search warrants, and other legal processes to obtain evidence. As discussed more fully below, among the items uncovered were cell phone billing records for defendant Heuermann corresponding to cell site locations for 1, the burner cell phones used to arrange meetings with 3 of the 4 victims, 2, the taunting calls made to a relative of Miss Bartholomew. What a dick. If he did this, I mean, we have to assume that he is innocent, but what a dick, allegedly. God, 3, a call made by a detective to Miss Bartholomew's cell phone while looking into her disappearance, and 4, calls checking the voicemail on Miss Brainerd Barnes' cell phone after her disappearance. In addition, Mr. Heuermann lived in Massapequa Park, where the victims were believed to have disappeared from, and he worked in Midtown Manhattan, in the vicinity where the taunting calls were made to the sister of Miss Bartholomew. Yeah, so I do have a question for John Gary. I saw a picture of his house. Are those, and maybe it's just my Midwestern, like, thing, but he's a pretty prominent architect. Are those really expensive houses out there? I don't know New York, I don't know Long Island. I didn't watch Jersey Shore, so I don't know, but in my mind, he would have had a bigger house, but if house prices are crazy out there, I assume they are, because possibly New York City, but I didn't, it just seemed like I thought he would have a better house, which is neither here nor there. So, as set forth more fully below, defendant Rex A. Heuermann is believed to be the person who used the burner cell phones to communicate with each of the 4 victims prior to their disappearance, and who used Miss Brainerd Barnes' cell phone and Miss Bartholomew's cell phone after their deaths. Both defendant Heuermann and these burner cell phones have significant connections to both Midtown Manhattan and Massapequa Park, New York. Oh my dear Lord. Yeah, y'all, I'm not moving to, not that I was planning to move to New Jersey or Long Island or New York or what have you, but good night, nurse. That is crazy. The disappearance and murder of Maureen Brainerd Barnes. Maureen Brainerd Barnes was last seen on July 9th, 2007 in New York City. At that time, she was believed to be working as a Craigslist worker. On July 6, 2007, Miss Brainerd Barnes' cell phone was contacted by a burner cell phone. Between July 6th, 2007 and July 9th, 2007, there were 16 interactions between this burner phone and Miss Brainerd Barnes' cell phone. On July 9th, 2007, the last cell site location for the Brainerd Barnes cell phone was approximately 11:56 p.m. in Midtown Manhattan near the 59th Street Bridge. Thereafter, the Brainerd Barnes cell phone had no further activity until on July 12th, 2007. On July 12th, 2007, 3 days after her disappearance, 2 outbound calls were made from Brainerd Barnes' cell phone, checking her voicemail from a cell site location near the Long Island Expressway in Islanda. I'm gonna go with Islanda. The disappearance and murder of Melissa Bartholomei. Melissa Bartholomei was last seen on July 10th, 2009 in New York City. At that time, she was believed to be working as a Craigslist worker. On July 3rd, 2009, Miss Bartholomei was contacted by a burner phone. Thereafter, the Bartholomei cell phone was contacted by this burner phone on July 6th, July 9th, and July 10th, 2009. Well, it says Islandia. I do not know. Which is the last day she was seen alive. On July 10th, 2009, cell site records indicate that the burner phone traveled from Massapequa Park to Midtown Manhattan. Later that evening, the Bartholomew cell phone traveled from Midtown Manhattan to Massapequa, with the last cell site located in Massapequa on July 11th, 2009. Islandia? Thank you, John Gary. You are my translator. He is my Long Island translator. Just like we needed, the Texas translators, which we thank you very much. At approximately 1:45 a.m. on July 11th, 2009, Miss Bartholomew's cell phone was used to make an outbound call, checking her voicemail from a cell site location in Freeport. On July 11th and July 12th, 2009, the Bartholomew phone made 2 more outbound calls, checking her voicemail from a cell site locations in Babylon. Babylon? Sounds good. Salbert. Yeah, I know there was, Joel Rifkin, was active at this time, I believe, too, and I will probably do a short little thing on Babylon, like, okay, well, you know what? Y'all just say things different than we do, so I attempt to say things, and then I'm a little okay. Now this is where he becomes even a bigger asshole than, just being a serial killer. On July 17th, so he did this on my birthday. How dare you, sir? July 23rd, August 5th, August 19th, and August 26th, 2009, the Bartholomew phone made taunting phone calls to Miss Bartholomew's family members, some of which resulted in a conversation between the caller, who was male, and a relative of Melissa Bartholomew, in which the male caller admitted to killing and SAing or graping. Oh, I'll have to look at that one too. I knew of Joel Rifkin, but I did not know of this person. So, I'm not gonna touch that one. As described below, the cell site locations of the Bartholomew phone used during these taunting calls were all in Midtown Manhattan. The disappearance and murder of Megan Waterman. Megan Waterman was last seen alive at the Holiday Inn in somewhere New York. I'm gonna say Hoppegarg? No idea. New York. On July 6, 2010, at approximately 1:30 a.m. At that time, she was believed to be working as a Craigslist worker. On June 5th, 2010, Miss Waterman's cell phone was contacted by another burner cell phone. Y'all, how much did he spend on burner cell phones? I mean, not having a burner cell phone either for, dog food like Letitia, or apparently all of them buy, you know, all of it. Oh, awesome. Thanks. Yeah, welcome. Oh, okay. Hop hog. Thank you, John Gary. Oh, really? Okay. Well, I was not look, not being a super spy and barely wanting to answer my own current phone, I have never bought a burner phone. I know you're shocked. Okay. I know it was somewhere. Thereafter, the Waterman phone continued or communicated with the burner phone on June 6, 2010 at approximately 1:31 a.m., which is around the time that Megan Waterman was captured on video surveillance exiting the Holiday Inn in Hauppauge for the last time. Following that communication, the burner cell phone had no further cell activity. However, site records show that the Waterman phone traveled to Massapequa Park, with the last cell site location being Massapequa Park at approximately 3:11 a.m. in the vicinity of the residence of defendant Heuermann. Interesting. I would be so terrible, you have no idea. I With great power comes great responsibility, and I don't need any more responsibility with that. The disappearance and murder of Amber Costello. Amber Costello was last seen alive September 2nd, 2010, leaving her residence at 1112 America Avenue in West Babylon during the late evening hours. At that time, she was believed to be working as a Craigslist worker. On September 1st, 2010, the day prior to the disappearance of Amber Costello, Miss Costello's phone was contacted by a burner cell phone. On September 10th, 2010, this burner cell phone had communications with the Costello cell phone at approximately 11:30 p.m. and 11:34 p.m. During those communications, the burner cell phone connected to cell towers in West Amityville and Massapequa Park. Thereafter, the burner cell phone traveled to West Babylon in proximity to the residence of Amber Costello and had contact with the Costello phone at approximately 12:05 a.m. on September 2nd, 2010. Ooh, are there a lot of, ladies of loose morals there? I just feel like you have to live up to that, or y'all speak all the languages. Or no, that's Babel. Never mind. I do wanna go there just to see the Amityville house, but I have a feeling that people probably get tired. The people that live there probably have to get tired of people just gawking, so I would feel bad. I wanna go, but I would feel bad, so probably won't. Not to mention, I don't do a lot of peopling, and New York tends to have a lot of peoples. And had contact with the Costello phone at approximately 12:05 a.m. on September 2nd, 2010. According to witnesses around the time of the communications between the burner cell phone and the Costello cell phone on September 1st and 2nd, 2010, a Craigslist client showed up at Miss Costello's residence located at West Babylon in New York. After the client entered the house, a ruse was executed on the client, whereby a person pretended to be the outraged boyfriend of Amber Costello, and the client left the residence, where Amber Costello retained the money the client had brought to pay for her services. Based upon interviews, that client was described as a large white male, approximately 6'4" and 6'6" in height, in his mid-40s, with dark, bushy hair, big oval type style 1970s type eyeglasses. And then there's a little footnote. This mirrors the physical attributes of defendant Rex A. Heuermann, who is a large white male, approximately 6'4" in height, in excess of 240 pounds in weight, with dark bushy hair, who wears large eyeglasses, who was 46 years old when Amber Costello went missing. I mean, y'all, I can't imagine. So Mr. Mo is about 6'3", possibly about he's not in excess of any weight. But, I mean, he's a large guy, and if I can't imagine having to be at the mercy of someone with that much just physical power. These women, these poor victims were terrified, and that is yeah, if you look like Shrek, you might not wanna, be an ogre. Be a good Shrek, not a bad Shrek. I know, it's such a waste of a tall person too. I'm going full blonde in the belly of the beast. I mean, but yeah, these poor women, and I am so doggone tired. I know. I'm a total see you next Tuesday for that. But I am so tired of the first thing being said about these women. Well, it's hard to remember all the things when you're trying to be a super master spy. But, where was I going? I'm tired of them just being their jobs, if you catch my drift. Regardless of what they were doing, what life choices they made, they're human beings, and they're victims. They died a terrible, horrible death, it sounds like. I'm sure we will. Yeah, I don't know that I would let, especially a guy that big, if I had double crossed a guy that large, I don't think I'd invite them back. Yeah, it's so eh, but it's I just wish that we could all be a little bit more respectful of the families, or the mainstream media could be. Regardless of their life choices, regardless of anything else, they were, their daughters, their sisters, their mothers, some of them, and it's just, I it just it rubs me the wrong way, it just does not work for me. Okay. The witness described him to the police as appearing like an ogre. Furthermore, a witness noticed a first generation Chevrolet Avalanche parked in the driveway of the residence. According to the witness, following the ruse, this client said he was just her friend, or quote, just her friend, and quote, tell her I'll give her a call, and walked out the front door. Thereafter, at approximately 11:18 a.m. on September 2nd, after the ruse had been perpetrated, the burner phone sent a text message to the Costello phone, which stated, quote, "That was not nice. I do not credit for time, or I do want credit for next time." End quote. I didn't know you could pay ahead with women of payable pleasure. Yeah. Well, he wasn't thinking about witnesses. But this could also be, I believe they're going to find more victims, and if you see from, like, BTK and the Green River Killer and Ted Bundy, they get so high on their own farce almost, they haven't been caught, they want to do better, they kind of get sloppy and loosey-goosey, and I'm wondering if, they are going to find a lot more victims that happened earlier. I'm not sure if they take coupons, but maybe. The phone records show that the burner phone was located in Massapequa Park within 2 minutes of this text message being sent. According to a witness, later the next day on September 2nd, 2010, Miss Costello was again contacted by the same client that was in her house the night before with the avalanche. Further, quote, Amber told us he wanted to see her again. He didn't want to come back to the house because of her boyfriend. Therefore, on September 2nd, 2010, at approximately 9:32 p.m., the same burner phone from the previous evening again communicated with the Costello phone. During the communication, the burner cell phone used a site location in Midtown Manhattan. Following this communication and based on cell site records, the burner phone traveled to Massapequa Park and had contact with the Costello phone from at approximately 10:39 PM and 11:05 PM. Yeah, yeah, I no, I get it. Why would you meet the same person you've done screwed over? This seems like a terrible, terrible idea. They should have used Surfshark. Was he not watching YouTube at this time? Also, Surfshark. One sec. Y'all, I will be right back. The people that are cutting down the tree, so talk amongst yourselves, Barbara Streisand style. I'll be right back. Sorry. Yes, I'm coming. Knock on the door when they're ready to come back in. Sorry about that, everyone. When the tree people come in and there's not another adult, it sort of is what it is. 6 kids in chaos. I had to go make sure that the tree cutters knew where the trees. Mr. Mo takes care of all that, so I just had to make sure and then made sure the boys didn't go outside because they wanted to see them cut down the tree, and they have to do it from inside. Okay, where was I? Alright. Cell site records for the burner phone indicate that at approximately 11:17 PM, the phone traveled to West Babylon in proximity to the residence of Amber Costello. Subsequently, Amber Costello left her own cell phone behind, walked out the front door of the residence, and was seen alive for the last time. Shortly after Miss Costello left the house, a witness observed a dark-colored truck pass by the house, specifically coming from the direction Amber had walked towards. Records established that defendant Hierman's wife was out of New York for the disappearance of Bartholomew, Waterman, and Costello. Significantly, travel records show that on July 8th, 2009, defendant Hierman's wife departed the United States for Iceland. So he has an Icelandic wife. Um, we have we have a bunch of dead trees. Thank you so much. Thanks, Farrell. Yeah, I'm trying this thing where I'm doing a little self-care every day, and being a girl is hard work. Good lord, we have to do a lot. Um, where was I? But yes, so his wife is Icelandic, and, she would go out of the country, so he was able to have these times. I mean, it looks like he was a prolific, um, connoisseur of Craigslist women. Sounds good. Yes, please, y'all, I don't care, rewatch, current watch. I just thank you all for your support and your time because it's yeah, that's what I don't like also about our media. Th Just like the BTK well, the BTK daughter kind of made her name for herself being the BTK daughter, and it seems like she stepped into that after she was forced. But, leave the family out of this. They are unintended victims, and I feel like we have gotten so cheap and tawdry as the media. It's the same impulse that led to those YouTubers doing that horrible, disgusting thing with Gannon. You know, I'm sure there's a market for it, but yeah, I really that's where I'm wondering, how far back his career as a serial offender, uh, you know, goes back. And believe me, Granny will be going off on the YouTubers tonight. She is about hot mad about a couple things. Okay. On August 18th, 2009, defendant Hierman's wife returned to the United States. Consequently, the defendant Hierman's wife was out of the country during the time of Melissa Bartholomew's disappearance. Based upon cellular telephone billing records on June 4th, 2010, the cellular phone described to subscribed to by defendant Hierman's wife traveled from New York to Maryland. On June 8th, 2010, the cellular phone subscribed to by the defendant Hierman's wife returned to New York from Maryland. Consequently, based on cellular phone records, the cell phone subscribed to by defendant Hierman's wife was out of New York State during the time of Megan Waterman's disappearance. Based on cellular phone billing records, on August 28th, 2010, the cellular phone subscribed to by defendant Hierman's wife traveled from New York to New Jersey. On September 5th, 2010, the cellular telephone subscribed to by the wife returned to New York from New Jersey. So, wait, where is it? Kurt was defending well, the thing is that we're all gonna have different opinions, and but I think we can yeah, I am excited about the business thing, but I definitely think that I want to be, um oh, okay. I look, you guys, I think there's as much as I try to be irreverent, I always try to think, "Okay, if the family of one of the victims watched this, accidentally." Yeah, I mean, legally, David always says, "It is not illegal to be an a-hole." I just think yeah, it is good to know that she was out of the, state. It's good to I think the kids are going to be dragged into this, sadly, but I do like that they are going out of their way, at least to show that the wife was not there, so that he could have these crimes. And Kurt Kurt does a lot of I like Kurt because he really thinks about things, and he really kinda sits there and goes through all the things, and you can strongman her, but it to me, it's in poor taste, which, is hilarious because I make fun of everybody on my stream, but I don't know that I would go that far, and that's all I'm gonna say about that until Granny has her talking to come to Jesus with a bunch of people. Oh, well, it won't stop conspiracy theorists, but nothing really ever does. I mean, okay, let's see here. Consequently, cellular telephone subscribed to by defendant Hierman's wife was out of New York during the time of Amber Costello's disappearance. Oh, let's see. 3. Neither of the cellular telephone billing records nor the travel financial records could be obtained for defendant Hierman's wife for 2007, as such records were no longer available due to retention policies. Therefore, it is undetermined at this time. Defendant Hierman's wife was traveling out of state at the time of Maureen Brainerd Bard's disappearance and murder. And then thank you, Wendy H. very much for the Cash App. That was it's very nice. I'm saving all of those because, as you can see, we have large cats, and I'm either going to make or buy, something for fluffy cats, if you will, that can support them and with, more perches on top because they all fight for that one perch on top. So I am saving that all up, and then we will get hopefully a wooden one too, just so it doesn't get so hairy. And yes, Hal phrasing. I know. Let's see here. During the times of the disappearance and the murder of the victims, Defendant Kierman owned an architectural business located in Midtown Manhattan, and this business was named subscriber of Kierman's cell phone, which was active during the times of the victim's disappearance and subscribed to Kierman's phone address in Massapequa Park. Although cell site records from that time period no longer existed, investigators obtained cellular billing records, which showed general location information for Mr. Hierman's phone. A review of these records, as well as Hierman's American Express records, showed numerous instances where Hierman was located in the same general locations as the burner phones used to contact the victims Bartholomew, Waterman, and Costello, as well as the use of Brainerd Barnes and Bartholomew's cell phones when they were used to check voicemail and make taunting cell phone calls after the women disappeared. Who does that? I mean, I don't know why I'm expecting there to be something good, um, from this absolute alleged, dirtbag guy. But, I mean, he's cheating on his wife, first of all, spending all of his money on women of the night when it looked like there were obvious repairs that could have been made at his house. I'm just saying, if you have extra energy, you could have fixed the porch, sir. But no, instead you decided to be a total D-bag and boil on the of humanity and fulfill the ogre prophecy. Just stereotypes. Sir, do better, do better. Waterman and Costello, and then there's going to be a footnote for so let's see. For unfortunately, site records for burner phones used to contact Miss Brainerd Barn were not obtained at the time of her disappearance and no longer exist. So it looks like there's a time at which all these companies start throwing out their files. So unfortunately, because there was such, um, kind of dysfunction earlier in the investigation, they lost their chance to get this information and really tie him down. So that's unfortunate, really. As well as use of the Brainerd Barnes and Bartholomew cell phones when they were used to check voicemail and make taunting phone calls after the women disappeared. Significantly, investigators could find no instance where Hierman was in a separate location from these other cell phones when such a communication event occurred. So really, it's okay. And Reindeer said, or okay, dope. The phone was linked to his business. This guy. And then I read it's his mother's home he bought, but who knows if that's the case. It might explain why the wife wants to leave all the time. I mean, yeah, I really hope this guy is a crazy killer. He's just yeah, it really seems like they can link him, and I think we'll get further in, we'll hear about the hair evidence, and I don't know what the hell he was doing with so much burlap fabric. Is he an aspiring, like, designer? Who the hell has that much? So, Salvador, there are several different theories, and I read an article from the gentleman who wrote the book, The Lost Girls, about this case that was also turned into a Netflix documentary that I would like to watch on Discord or perhaps Rumble if I can figure it out. Uh, but according to him, it was misogyny. But there's also the underlying factor that the chief of police in that was very, like, boss hog levels corrupt. So he slowballed this for a long time because he knew the FBI was watching him, and I will do another video about what he was in fact, charged with and kind of all the corruption going on in there. So, it really took until a couple years ago for them to get someone new and really focus on this. So, the author of that particular book and article thinks that it might be because they were women of the evening, but, having watched a lot of, uh, interviews with the police that worked the Green River Killer case and, you know, all those other things, I while that might be an easy scapegoat to explain why it took so long, I think that attitudes have really shifted, and 2007 isn't that so long ago that, we really started seeing all of these women as victims regardless of life choices, or at least most people do. Ah, well, that's kind of what has been alleged, but they also I mean, they had a very corrupt, uh, police chief, so I, again, don't know how much I do the Twitters, I do the twits. I am trying to tweet out more and let people know about stuff, but as you can see, my life is a general day of chaos, regardless of tree cutters or anything else, and keeping the boys inside while the tree cutters are here. Significantly, investigators could find no oh, okay. For example, on July 10th, 2009, the last day Melissa Bartholomew is seen alive, both the burner phone and defendant Heuermann's phone were in the area of Massapequa and traveled together toward New York City. Thereafter, both Miss Bartholomew's phone and Mr. Heuermann's phone traveled eastbound toward Massapequa. On July 14th, 2009, at approximately 7:15 p.m., cell site records indicate the burner phone used to contact Miss Bartholomew prior to her disappearance had activity in Manhattan. On this same day, at approximately 6:58 p.m. and 7:22 p.m., billing records from Heuermann's cell phone also show call locations in New York City. Did he not think that, cell phones this whole story is so odd, including that while looking for one woman on her own crazy incident, they were like, "Damn, we have a serial killer." Yeah, it's really I mean, you can say the universe or God, but or what have you, but sometime yeah, well, if he turned off his phone, they would have thought he was kidnapped. You just I don't even know. I mean, airplane mode apparently is sus too. But, you know, sometimes I think the universe or God has things he would like justice to be done. So, when this guy thought, "Hey, no one's gonna look for these girls. No one's gonna care." These families, I mean, according to what the author said, these families were there 24/7, asking for answers, advocating for their daughters, sisters, and mothers, So they're the real heroes. I mean, they kept this thing alive even through corruption and delays and everything else, and for their sake, I really, really hope that this is the guy, and they're not gonna get closure, so to speak, but this can be a different way to grieve. It grief is really weird. I mean, it'll come and go in waves. Um, there are, surprise tsunamis of grief, which are super fun, let me tell ya. But, I think finding and getting justice, they can grieve more peacefully. I mean, you'll never get perfect justice down here on Earth, and I can only hope that the family members because I believe that someone was telling me in Discord that the mother of Shannon Gilbert, the woman that kind of, whose disappearance kind of really lit a fire under these people's behinds, she passed away before getting to see this justice, and I can only hope that he w they get the justice that they deserve. I have a feeling, and this is just me being me, I have a feeling this guy is going to want to talk. Um, I have a feeling that, like most serial killers, he is going to now he might not be BTK levels of, like, sending crossword puzzles to news things but I have a feeling that he might, take a sick, twisted pleasure in besmirching these victims more and, taking Yeah, I know. I listened to her, 911 call, and I'm a little unsure if I wanna play it just because those are her last words, and it's so eerie. Yeah, and it's so sad. Um, so I am hoping that he just starts, like, spilling his guts like, Bundy did and a couple others. I want as much justice to go around as possible. Now, I do not know yet, and I will look up if New York has the death penalty, but I'd be okay with this one. Oh, wonderful. Yeah, I am really hoping that, he just ends up cracking and, maybe families whose daughters have been missing for a long time get some justice, get some peace. Because really, in my mom's heart, that's what I want. That's why I do these cases. Dang it. He did seem remorseful. I Oh, for the love of Cheetos, never mind. He's gonna as my kids would say, "I'm gonna eat Takis and watch this craziness." His interrogation's gonna be lit. I hope they, release the videos fairly soon. Ooh, don't touch the mic. Following Miss Bartholomew's disappearance on July 17th, 2009, at approximately 2 or 12:40 PM, a male caller used Bartholomew phone to contact Miss Bartholomew's family. The Bartholomew phone was located in New York City at the time, specifically attached to a cell tower located at 4 Penn Plaza, which is approximately 2,372 feet or 0.45 miles from Heuermann's then office space, which at the time was located at 19 West 36th Street in New York City. So let me see if I can embiggen this. Alright, so th this man is a total douchey wooshy. If you fricking call the relatives of the people that you have unalived, I don't know why I'm expecting grace and, you know, goodness from a fricking terrible human being, but, oh. And this is actually, like this is really good. I like that they included pictures for those of us who are spatially unaware and don't understand New York at all. Well, yeah, I mean, he might, but he might also make a plea deal. Like, "Look, I'll confess to all of them." Uh, I did not know I don't know who Billy Jensen is, but I don't think anyone should be canceled. I mean, regardless of the YouTubers that did the disgusting thing, hopefully they will take their lumps. They will, really think about what they did, and if you're there needs to be an arc to redemption. So, hopefully, they take this as a learning experience and really think about things. Yeah, this is really quite I'm glad that they finally found him, but I'm very irritated that with corruption and maybe, kind of the less dead sort of quality of the attitudes that might have been back in the day for women who worked for Craigslist. I'm hoping I wish that they had gotten to this sooner. On July 22nd, 2009, at 6:51 PM, cell site records indicate burner phone had activity in New York City. specifically attached to a cell tower located at 19 West 34th Street, which is approximately 872 feet or 0.16 miles from defendant Kierman's then office space, which at the time was located at 19 West 36th Street, New York City, New York. See illustration below. I love the illustrations. On this same date, at approximately 5:12 p.m., billing records from the Human cell phone listed a call located in New York City. And I like that, having gone through trials, we're really learning, well, I've learned a lot about, like, how they do the telemetry and all the math, um, so that, I can kind of understand what they're talking about when they use cell phone data like they did with the, um, border patrol agent guy, so I kind of understand what they're actually saying versus, kind of making it up in my head. Oh, yeah, called the same bell her burner cell phone used up to set the date, same burner cell phone he paid for with his Amex. Well, he's not a genius. He just thought he was. Again, I have a feeling, and this is, not reckless speculation, but my speculation, that these are later crimes of his. I believe he'll probably have, earlier crimes. I believe that they will find many more victims. I don't think he just started this in 2006. I think that, we have about a 10-year, you know, because usually what they say, if you look at all the serial killers, is they start about, mid-20s, early 30s. So if he was 46 during with one of the victims, I mean, there's 10 years that I really think that we are going to find a lot of more victims. Again, this is just my opinion. I only watch Park Deets, like, on TV, so I'm not a real behavioral analyst. On July 23rd, 2009, at approximately 1:39 p.m., cell site records indicate the burner phone had activity in New York City, specifically attached to a cellular tower located at 1934. Oh wait, I read that, sorry. On July 23rd, 2009, at approximately 6:42 p.m., a male caller used the Bartholomew phone to contact her family. The Bartholomew phone was located in New York City at the time, specifically attached to a cell tower located at 273 or 75 West Street, 39th Street. Never mind. His recent search history suggests that he might have switched to young girls. Hopefully, it was just yeah, I'm hoping not. That property in South Carolina, of course, is interesting. I'm sure they're looking to at open cases. Yeah, I definitely think Sal, don't go to the dark side. Okay, the Bartholomew phone was located in New York City at this time, specifically attached to a cell tower located at 275 West 39th Street, which is approximately 872 feet or 0.16 miles from Heuermann's then office space. On July 23rd, 2009, between approximately 8:29 p.m. and 9:30 p.m., the burner cell had activity in New York City. Later on this same date, at approximately 11:05, billing records from Heuermann's cell phone listed a call located in Jamaica, Queens. That would be a fun place to visit. Jamaica, Queens. Oh, cool. So he has a new podcast with Kate Winkler Dawson. Interesting. I will have to check that out. On August 5th, 2009, between approximately 6:50 p.m. and 7:11 p.m., a male caller used the Bartholomew phone to contact Miss Bartholomew's family. During said time period, the Bartholomew phone utilized the following cell towers in New York City, which are 2,230 to 3,280 feet from Huerman's then office space. Wow, that is a lot of mathing, guys. But I mean, at least with these 4, it looks like he is not really. Jamaica, Queens is a dump. It's an important transportation hub with a major, LIRR station and bus station. I don't know, it just seemed like a fun name, but you know better than I do. But I do like that they add all this, and it looks like they've got them pretty well tied to at least these 3 to 4, and I hope that with these 3 to 4, they get a plea deal, which as long as the families agree to it, in which he has to confess to everything he's done, if the families are okay with it. On August 10th, 2009, based upon subpoenaed travel documents, Huerman departed for Iceland, and all cell phone activity for the Bartholomew phone stopped. On August 18th, 2009, Huerman returned from Iceland, and phone activity for the Bartholomew phone resumed the next day. On August 19th, 2009, at approximately 7:23 p.m., a male caller used the Bartholomew's phone to contact the family again. Okay, and it says, the new, thing for what's his face? Y'all know I but the new podcast is called, Buried Bones, and they do historical cases because that is Dawson's specialty. So, that is another podcast or video thing that I will have to catch up with. You know, I'd be caught up with everything if I didn't have to sleep. And what a dick to call the families. I'm sorry. The cell site records indicate that Bartholomew phone was located in New York City at the time, specifically attached to a cell tower located at 249 West 32nd or 36th Street, sorry, which is approximately 2,831 feet or 0.53 miles from Huerman's then office space. So, yeah, I mean, they've got him pretty much, uh, sorry, Paul Holes. Y'all, I cannot remember my kids' names sometimes. Usually just yell like, "You, get over here." Poor kids, they're gonna have so much therapy to do. Like, I don't even know my name. On August 26, 2009, between approximately 11:29 AM and 11:34 AM, a male caller used the Bartholomew phone to contact Miss Bartholomew's family. According to the cell site records, the Bartholomew phone was located in New York City at this time, specifically attached to cell tower located at 4 Penn Plaza, which is approximately 2,030 feet or 0.42 miles from Sherman's then office space. Yeah, I mean, just with the cell alone, and hello, MLS law. Just with the cell records alone, I would think they've kind of wrapped this one up. I mean, it's definitely nice to have actual evidence, unlike the Michael Turney case, that was, no evidence anywhere whatsoever. Additional burner phones and online account activity linked to defendant Hierman. As described herein, over the course of a comprehensive investigation of defendant Hierman, investigators located a number of online accounts and burner phones linked to defendant Hierman, but which were held by him in fictitious names and used for illicit activities. American Express records obtained via subpoena revealed reoccurring Google Pay payments made by defendant Hierman to Tinder. Y'all have to pay for Tinder? I didn't know that. I thought it was free. Hmm. I mean, maybe you pay to like make your picture pop up more and look, y'all, I'm just glad to be married and never have to date again. Really, that's why we got married, so we just wouldn't have to date again and Miss Mo or Mr. Mo would drive me places. Because I am firmly in the David camp. I got married so I don't have to drive on the freeway. Okay. An online dating and geosocial networking application used to find dates or hookups within the user's immediate vicinity. Records were obtained from Tinder, which revealed that the Tinder profile was set up in the name of Andy. Kierman's middle name is Andrew. Ew. With links to a burner cell phone, I'm not going to give out the name or the number, subscribed in the fictitious name of Andrew Roberts, using an email account Springfield Man 9 at AOL, and the Springfield Man 9 AOL account was established with AOL in like 2009. I'm just kidding. Oh, okay. Well, see, I am learning all the new things. Tinder. Why am I not shocked, Sal? Why am I not? I'm flashing to the up with the little Doberman. Why am I not shock faced? You had the cone of shame. I'm sorry. Was established with AOL on January 15th, 2011 in the fictitious name John Springfield with an Astoria, Queens, New York zip code using another burner cell phone, which records show has no named subscriber. Too horny for you, Indigo. Good lord, those people must have been on the thing. Got some Spanish fly up in there. Inquiring minds want to know. They do, they do. I know, now I wanna see Tinder because holy crap, how can you be I mean, I'm just saying. Records obtained from Verizon showed that defendant Hierman's phone was also used on December 11th, 2022, for a period of over 3 hours to access the fictitious, Springfield Man 9 AOL account. Similarly, records were obtained from T-Mobile that showed that burner phone that was used on dates in multiple dates, including November 8th, 2020, to access this account. A review of call records for the two additional cell phone or burner cell phones revealed that both cell phones were used extensively between 2001 and 2023 for Craigslist related contracts or contacts. I thought that Craigslist stopped showing that kind of thing after the Craigslist killer. Am I wrong? Again, I don't use Craigslist a lot. I kind of use Marketplace from Facebook. But and having never been in a position where I needed to advertise to certain people, I mean, do you just go to OnlyFans now? I am so confused. I am confusion. Uh, Either with, Craigslist workers or massage parlors. I was thinking about getting a massage, but now I'm wondering if I need to make sure that I don't go to that kind that's kind of what I thought, but I like I said, I've never had to use it for that, so I am somewhat unaware. In addition, cell site warrants for these burner phone cell phones revealed that just like the burner cell phones defendant Hierman used to contact the victims prior to their disappearance, these additional burner cell phones had frequent cell site activity in Midtown Manhattan and Massapequa Park. Specifically, the records revealed that both of these burner phones consistently had activity on cellular towers that provided coverage to defendant Hierman's residence in Massapequa Park and his business in New York City. Legal process served on Google seeking records or accounts associated with the device identifiers of these additional burner cell phones revealed a connection to yet another burner or junk email account named T Hawk 080672. Yeah, put your birthday in there, sir. I think that would be great. Sal, if true, I want the entire story, okay? This is gonna be a stream, and we are just gonna have Sal in the massage parlor story time. Hereinafter Thawk email account. Google records further indicate that Thawk email account was subscribed in a fictitious name, Thomas Hawk. A search warrant revealed that Thawk email account associated with Burner's cell phone number uh, was used to conduct thousands of searches related to Craigslist workers, sadistic torture related prawn, child abuse prawn, and other things. So I'll read some of these, but other things you're just going to have to read uh, because I'm not saying them online. They're grody. They're disgusting. He's a monster. Okay, you don't look. You put these things in your phone, you're on a list, we put you on an island. Look, I'm sure there's Snake Island for all these people. You wanna deal with the little people, little kids, you go to Snake Island if I run the world. Mistress Long Island, Mature Escorts, Manhattan, and that's about all I'm gonna read on this one, because I really hate him. Uh These are terrible searches. They're disgusting, and I'm not gonna read them. If you would like to look at them, this is the bail application form, and you can find it online, and you can read. And I'm really hoping that he did not transition to, younger people, but I don't know if he was looking yeah, these are gross. These guys are yeah, I mean I'm glad that there is at least of all the things that divide us, all the things that, you know, we disagree on, I'm glad that the majority of people, regardless of stances on anything, agree that kids are sacred. You don't mess with kids. Kids are not to be messed with. The Thawk email account was also used to conduct in excess of 200 searches between March 2002 and June 2003 related to active and known serial killers. The specific disappearances and murders of Maureen Brainerd Barnes, Melissa Bartholomé, Megan Waterman, and Amber Castillo, and the investigation into their murders. These searches or articles accessed include, but were not limited, sorry, lunatic limited. Yeah, they're just this is so gross. It's so gross what he was looking at. I like into the wood chipper. I'm sorry, but what? Oh, I thought you meant the read, Mo, read. Yeah, I do think that they were really worried about the sort of change it made. Yeah, I this guy is super de duper gross, just gross, like, to the nth degree. These searches and articles accessed include, but were not limited to, why could law enforcement not trace the calls made by the Long Island serial killer? Well, they could, sweetie. Why hasn't the Long Island serial killer been caught? Well, you have been now. Long Island serial killer phone call, Long Island serial killer update, Long Island serial killer update 2020, FBI active serial killers by state 2023. And this makes me wonder if he has other states. He's kind of like an Israel Keys almost. Well, I mean, Israel Keys is scary. If y'all want me to look up that case, that man, like, you think Hannibal Lecter, Israel Keys was that sort of cold, calculated scariness. Yeah. Yeah, he uses, well, at least he used a burner phone. He just didn't realize you can also, I guess, subpoena burner phones. And now that I know that, just won't even buy a burner phone. I'm gonna have to go to Encyclopedia Britannica if I ever wanna do something bad. I'll just use, microfiche from the library. I'm not using Google, y'all. Maps of all known serial killers, unsolved serial killer cases. America's 5 most notorious old cases. 11 currently active serial killers. 8 terrifying active serial killers we can't find. John Bitroff, which reminds me, I do need to look at that because, John Gary was saying that I believe, I wanna say Amber Costello had, ties to that particular murderer too, so I will be looking up his case, and I'll probably be doing a video on him. Again, remember, I'm trying to do more videos and things, but, I always plan on having more time, so I will try to get these out in a timely fashion when I learn things about them and try to keep you up to date, and this is a lot of information, it's coming out pretty fast. So, I may not be on top of everything as soon as it drops, but I will try to keep you. Good morning, Kim. Yeah, I think so. I think he was under the impression, like I would be, that, if you use a burner phone, they can't do anything, like, you are completely super spy anonymous, and unfortunately for him, but fortunately for the victims, they, they are not, as, Mission Impossible as it looks. Oh, okay. Well, I will just look at what he did and if he had connections, because I have a feeling this is just going to be a ginormous case. And I know that bigger channels are gonna be watching this, but if you would like a small chat that's growing, and thank you all for your support. But, I will try to keep up with this as much as I can, and, I still have stuff going on Delphi. It's just, getting all the things in order. That big document dump did not come in a chronological order, so I have a timeline now, and I will be sharing that soon on a video. Yeah, that's and please like and subscribe. I always forget to do the YouTubey thing. Let's see here. Megan Waterman, Melissa Bartholomew, Maureen Brainerd Barnes, redacted, a name of a relative of Melissa Bartholomew, uh, name of a relative of Megan Waterman. Cops catch Gilgo Beach homicide investigation or launch Gilgo Beach homicide investigation task force, mapping the Long Island murder victims. Inside the Long Island serial killer and Gilgo Beach, the Gilgo Beach killer criminal minds. In Long Island serial killer investigation, new cell phone technology may be the key to breaking the case. In Biggin? Okay, that's 2 in Biggin. The Thawk email account was also used to search for a number of podcasts and or documentaries regarding this investigation, as well as repeatedly viewing hundreds of images depicting the murdered victims and members of their families. Significantly, defendant Hierman also searched for and viewed articles concerning the very task force that was investigating him. So, let me invigorate this. What a absolute clown. So he was looking up, um, how the task force was going. He was looking up, family members. He's such a this this was the man's, Tinder picture. It I don't know if I like it both hair choices seem awful, but I am not a weirdo, so, ugh, just all the ugh. Also, wanna take a picture of yourself, put the never I give up. I'm not helping this man, but also black. A search warrant conducted on the fictitious Springfield Man 9 AOL account further revealed selfie photographs that appeared to have been taken by defendant Rex Hierman of himself. sent to other persons to solicit and arrange for, um, beast with 2 backs activities, further linking Human to the fictitious email account and burner cell phone blank used to establish the account. I have not heard him talk yet, so I will probably do a video of his, YouTube interview for his business and see. It might be a New York thing. I mean, I don't know you guys, maybe kind of braggadocio, and the New York accent kind of makes you think of certain, former presidents. Defendant Rex A. Heerman was further linked to burner cell phone blank because on May 9th, 2023, defendant Heerman was observed by law enforcement via video and field surveillance at a cell phone store in Midtown Manhattan and purchased additional minutes which were added to his burner cell phone. Sir, I'm not saying that online, but Sal, dang it. Sir, did you not realize that everything is covered with CCTV? I mean, and I am glad that they had an eye on him, but they continued to let him solicit and contact, ladies who were selling their pleasures to other people. I understand that you can't I don't understand all the legal intricacies that go into getting someone like this and creating a case, but the fact that you continued to do surveillance, knowing that it was very likely that he was a killer and you kept letting him put other people in danger kinda teaks me off. It kinda peeves me off, and again, I realize I don't understand the nuances. As a lay tuber and possibly, maybe I might start looking into working to be a paralegal when the kids are in school. I don't know. Yeah, you would think so. Well, they might be there for actual real phones. I don't know if there's, like, that's what I need to do. I need to do, like, Burner Hut, the burner phone and shenanigans, phone store. Yeah, and those horizontal stripes, look, for those of us who are also fluffy, we do not wear horizontal stripes, sir. Anal Analysts. Analysis of the Springfield Man 9 AOL account also led to the discovery of another email account, Hunter 1903A3 at gmail.com, hereinafter called the Hunter Google account. I'm not adding the numbers. I'm just gonna start a store that sells beepers because we're going Miami Vice style anymore. Used on February 14th, 2001 to send an image of a woman of payable pleasure from upstate New York between two of Fuhrman's secret emails accounts. Further investigation revealed that the Hunter Google account was created February 14th of 2021. For cereal, sir? On Hallmark card day? On, commercials, "Say you love me or I'll be pissed" day? What the hell? I mean, at least I hope you got your wife a card at least. Damn. Nothing like making up a Twitter account, or not a Twitter, a Tinder account on a fake thing and emailing yourself, nudie women pictures between burner phones to say, "I love you" corporate day. Dave Richard with King County, Washington, has talked about how hard it is to live with adding continuing victims because you don't have enough to arrest. Yeah, I definitely. Oh, that's good to know. So the 1903 A3 is an old bolt action rifle once used by the US military. I have not seen Better Call Saul, but I've also not seen Breaking Bad. I don't know, it just the first episode, he seemed so nice, and I knew he was gonna become like this heartless drug dealer, and I didn't wanna even see that. I felt bad for his wife, she was all pregnant, and he was dying, and he turned into a total cock, and so I just didn't wanna see it. It's like, "Look, I've done seen what drugs already do, so I don't need to." Okay, where was it? As the user's phone number, SMS recovery number, and was subscribed in the fictitious name of Andy Roberts. The same name linked to the target Tinder profile and burner cell phone, as well as the same alias utilized by defendant Heuermann in communication with numerous potential Craigslist workers responding to his advertisements for that activity. And the fictitious birthday of August 6th, 1972, which corresponds to the digital ending number of burner account Thok. Yeah, why would you put a fictitious birthday? Just this man thought he was so daggone. Yeah, me too. I want the sweet little. Yeah, seriously. I don't know if that's how we roll in Iceland, but round here, I catch you going on Tinder, there's gonna be some, allegedly some cast iron skillet action. I'm just saying if it worked for Ripple and Tangled, it'll work. In addition, Google provided IP address information for the user's acceptance of the terms of service, which revealed that the terms of service were accepted February 14th, 2001 from IP address, lots of numbers. Significantly, records were obtained from Altus doing business as Optimum, which is an internet service provider indicating the IP address at the defendant Heuermann's phone or home address. No, no, no one can fix this man. This man goes to Snake Island if it's found that he had anything to do with children. I'm done. I'm done trying to help people. Snake Island for y'all. If you wanna mess with kids, that it just is. Moreover, based on SCPD records for the official website gilgonews.com, a website maintained by the SCPD to disperse news pertaining to this investigation, defendant Heuermann's home IP address was used on May 23rd, 2020 and July 3rd, 2020 to access official news concerning this investigation. Records obtained from JetBlue also show the same IP address was also utilized to book flights for the defendant Heuermann and his wife in 2018. When analyzing the usage of all devices and accounts used by defendant Heuermann, there appears to be a clear pattern wherein Heuermann used burner phones and burner junk email addresses to one, contact Craigslist workers. Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe the wife was oblivious or he just had a lot of nighttime work or she didn't care or I mean, I don't know. I feel really bad for the wife and children because they are just caught in a cyclone of chaos and weird media people, and I'm sure every moron from the internet is, trying to send them, like, terrible, terrible stupidness, which y'all, I know you know this, but don't send anything to the families. It's not their fault, and if you have the energy to mess with someone's family when they're going through something like this, go plant a tree, go rake a yard, go ask an elderly citizen if they need help with anything around their house. You obviously have way too much free time. Sal? You may have an in, I'm just saying. It is poetic justice that his wife's, and she probably sheds like me. Y'all, I shed like a Chewbacca, if you know what I mean. Yeah, sorry, MLS, I was in the middle of trying to make sure the boys don't go out while they're cutting down trees and doing this stream, so I was gonna, twit you that he was here, but, you know. To A, contact Craigslist workers and partners to conduct extensive searches related to the beast with 2 backs, uh, prostitution, violent, sadistic, and child abuse materials. 3, well, they went from 1 to 3. And 3, seek online information about the authorities investigating his crimes. These burner phones and email accounts with fictitious identities were used in an effort to conceal Heuermann's true identity, concealing his criminal activity, unlawful proposition of Craigslist workers, and attempt to monitor investigation of his crimes. Now, here's where I kind of want to maybe talk a little bit, or talk a little bit. So, chat, do you think that if we legalized this oldest profession in the world and had safe places for people to do this, do you think that would be a good thing or a bad thing? Because I'm kind of in the middle. I really do think, um, possibly it would have helped if this wasn't sort of an underground thing and there were safe places, where these people could they're gonna do it regardless. I mean, it is the oldest profession in the world, but these are incredibly vulnerable people, and if they're not gonna stop, I don't know, it's the same argument you get from, safe drug sites. So and y'all, I am just a Mo on the internet, so I don't know how to stop anything. I am not a great philosophical thinker, but I wish there were more safeguards. I don't never in the history of the world has government intervention been a good thing, but a private a pay for safe play hotel. Look, it's a market opportunity. I'm not saying I'm gonna do it, but you are ridiculous, Sal, no. Terrible, terrible idea. Yeah, at least he didn't think he was Jesus. I mean, yeah, we don't know. Yeah, I know, it's pie in the sky. I don't want any more families to go with what they're doing, and I don't want these women to be vilified because of their choices. I mean, if it's going to happen anyway, but that's a whole 'nother stream. We can solve the world's problems with some margarita or rum and coke and a little bit of lime juice. We can solve the world's problems. I'm gonna get Steve Gosney on here with a couple of sidecars. He'll write a book about it, and we will be done. We will have figured it all out. He is a genius compared to Chandler Halderson. We need to make a scale like dumb, dumber, semi-competent, genius level of this kinda stuff. DNA analysis of hairs recovered from the examination of the victim's body. During the course of this investigation, each of the 4 victims' bodies were examinated. Damn it. Examined, uh, by a forensic scientist. I was gonna say Scientologist, but we don't know her religion or him. I'm not gonna misgender. With the Suffolk County Crime Laboratory, which revealed as followed: Maureen Brainerd Barnes. Miss Barnes had been left restrained by 3 leather belts, one of which was utilized to tie Barnes' feet. I guess trigger warning, you guys, or warning. I mean, they're gonna go into it doesn't look like they're gonna go very deeply into what happened to these victims, but even so, with a short little, clips, we are gonna go a little bit into that. So if this is not your jam, this is a warning. You can, if you're in the replay crew, I don't know how long this is gonna take, but, you can feel free to skip forward if you don't want to deal with this kind of information. Now, pretty sure that since you're here as a true crime person, you're gonna be okay with it, but I do want to be responsible-ish. Like, look, I am now 39. I am hoping for that wisdom to come crawling in at any point. Yeah, I figure it is your jam. I know you guys as chat, but I don't know, who might be watching the replay, and I don't want, craziness to come out at people just out of the blue. So, we're going with it because even this just little bit sounds so terrible, and I just get in that mind space of these poor women and what they went through. One of which was utilized to tie Barnes' ankles or feet and ankles or legs together. During the examination of the belts, a female human hair was recovered from the buckle of one of the belts in Suffolk by the Suffolk County Crime Lab. Hereinafter, female hair on Barnes. On or about December 18th, 2010, the Suffolk County Laboratory had this hair and was able to determine that it corresponded to a Caucasian head hair fragment. Although this hair was not suitable for nuclear DNA profiling at the time, it was subsequently resubmitted for further DNA analysis. So hopefully they'll explain all the DNA stuff. Megan Waterman. Megan Waterman had been bound by clear and white duct tape. During the course of the examination of Miss Waterman's body, two female human hairs were recovered, one from the outside of the head area and the other from the tape of the head area. Both hairs were recovered in the vicinity of Miss Waterman's head. Hereinafter, two female hairs on Waterman, examined by the Suffolk County Laboratory, indicated that the two female hairs on Waterman exhibited Caucasian or European characteristics, but were unsuitable for further DNA testing at the time. Um, and I don't know how many of you people know this, but they cannot get regular DNA or full sequence DNA unless they have the root of the hair. Now they can do mitochondrial DNA, but mitochondrial DNA is passed through the maternal, genetic line. So it's not as, pinpoint accuracy of getting a single person. Now it can definitely give you a family line. Yeah, he's not. Well, I mean, she probably if she sheds like me, and he doesn't look like he's the most kempt person, and or if they were doing the horizontal mamba in his house or office area, which seems to be kind of where he meets these people. If they're in his house to do certain things, if she sheds like me, it is not impossible. Or as, Brad Leon would say, not possible equals impossible. Hey, MLS law. Yeah, he was a recourse look, for those of us who can't spell, autocorrect is sometimes good, but then when even autocorrect doesn't understand what the hell you're trying to spell, so you're trying to spell it a little bit different wrongly, maybe autocorrect will help you. Okay, the 2 female hairs on Waterman were subsequently submitted for further DNA analysis. See below. Amber Costello. An examination of the body of Miss Amber Costello revealed that she appeared to have been bound by 3 pieces of clear or white duct tape. During the course of the examination of Miss Costello's body, a female human hair was recovered specifically on a piece of tape inside the burlap wrapping in the vicinity of Miss Costello's head, hereinafter female hair on Costello. A subsequent examination of the female hair on Costello led to the determination that it had Caucasian and European characteristics, however, was unsuitable for further DNA testing at the time by Suffolk Crime Laboratory. The female hair on Costello was subsequently submitted for DNA or for further DNA analysis. Forensic Laboratory Number 1. As noted above, the female hair on Barnes, 2 female hairs on Waterman, and female hair on Costello, collectively the hairs recovered on the 3 victims, were all sent to an outside forensics laboratory, hereinafter Forensic Laboratory 1. Forensic Laboratory 1 applies DNA techniques and direct genome sequencing sequencing in difficult to solve forensic casework and identification of human remains. So I do like that they went outside it with, because, the common trope where, like, the local town detective doesn't wanna let the FBI in because, he wants to be in charge of the case. So I'm really glad that they went to different labs to help get justice. I'm glad that they didn't let, the fact that ego and other things get involved. In or about July 2022, Forensic Laboratory 1 was able to determine that each of the aforementioned female hairs recovered on the three victims each belonged to a female individual in the mitochondrial haplogroup C or K1C2, and that this female was not any of the victims. Now, my guess if his wife is from Iceland, and so here's the funny thing about Iceland. It is very remote, it is very kind of homogeneous and kind of self-contained. They have an app, from what I've researched, this could be very wrong, take it with a pound of salt, but they have an app that makes sure that you're not, like, so closely related to the person that you're dating that it would be considered, incest or, might cause genetic issues. I saw this somewhere once on the internet, so it may or may not be true, but I believe it is true because it was a news, um, thing. See, y'all should have let us buy Iceland. We would have brought genetic diversity to your door. Ugh, the ridiculousness I think of. On or about July 21st, 2002, an undercover SCPD detective recovered 11 bottles from the trash receptacle that had been left out for collection in front of the residence of defendant Rex A. Heuermann. The Suffolk County Crime Laboratory took swabs of said bottles, which were subsequently sent to Forensic Laboratory 1 for DNA profiling. Based on these new submissions, on or about February 24th, 2023, Forensic Laboratory 1 was able to conclude that one of the DNA profiles generated from the aforementioned bottles taken from defendant Heuermann's residence indicated a female individual belonging to the mitochondrial haplogroup K1C2, in parentheses, which is the same mitochondrial haplogroup as the female hairs recovered from the three victims. This profile was then compared against the previously tested female hair sample recovered from the remains of Megan Waterman, which indicated that the two belonged to the same individual or someone closely related. Look, strange, weird things. I am a receptacle for odd information. Now, normal things like what time zone are you in? Yoink, right over my head, like Peanut from Jeff Dunham, like, but, you know, app to stop inbreeding in Iceland, I'll remember that crap forever. Truth, and if, our disgraced border patrol agent is anything to say, you will get gonorrhea syphilitis if you, go out cheating, so stay at home, men and ladies. Based upon the investigation and evidence recovered to date, that female is believed to be the wife of defendant Heuermann. Forensic Laboratory Number 2. On or about March 23rd, 2023, the Suffolk County Crime Laboratory requested Forensic Laboratory 2, a laboratory specializing in forensic mitochondrial analysis, to conduct additional independent analysis. I like how they're double checking. It came late and it wasn't timely, but now that they are actually on top of things and working this, they are making sure that there's going to be no way that this man can weasel his way out, and I like that. I mean, I hate that it took so long, but I like that they are, on the ball and they're anticipating defense saying, "Well, this wasn't tested. This wasn't, peer reviewed. Who the hell are you?" Doing hell nah motions and in limine and all sorts of things. So I like that they're covering their bases. On or about June 12, 2023, Forensic Laboratory 2 issued a report concluding that the DNA sample from the female recovered from the bottle outside the residence of the defendant, i.e., Heuermann's wife, and the hair on Costello indicated the mitochondrial DNA profiles are the same at all compared position common to between samples, specifically at a rate that would, as per EMPOP database. Okay, let's look what this database is. I love that they include footnotes. Oh my gosh. This is just amazing. EMPOP is shorthand for the European DNA Profile Group, EDNAP, Mitochondrial DNA Population Database, which is a web-based collection of human mitochondrial sequence DNA from various populations worldwide. The North American database includes 12,368 sequences of North American forensic significance. Interesting. Well, y'all, we're never going to be able to commit crimes ever again between the Ancestry.com, which, again, y'all don't give your DNA to a company that works with the government. Like, full Rusty Shackelford moment, but y'all, that is the dumbest thing ever. Like, they're like, "For sure, we're not gonna, sell your stuff to the government." No, no. I know, I'm already liking this DA office with how hello, Carlene. I don't think I've seen you in one of my chats, but welcome, welcome. Sure they don't. That's not how they found, the Golden State Killer or, Brian Kohberger. They're like, "No, of course we won't, use this." You realize your cousin's a freaking monster? That's the other reason. Yeah, no. I know. Y'all, I love the crust, especially on okay, I know they're not truly New York pizza, but the thin crust pizza are those are my jam. I mean, I'm not saying the next time I have a cheat meal, I'm going to go get one like a big old slice of pizza, but Imma finish that crust. I don't even understand. The crust is pure carbs and you know, lurking is fine. I lurk on the bigger channels because and I'm glad I found MLS Law with a kind of smaller thing because it was hard to kind of interact with it was intimidating. I'm not gonna lie, I'm fairly new to this chat thing, so but yes, you eat the crust, doggone it. That was my favorite thing I used to my kids would not eat the crust, so it's like you have your own breadstick. Look, I'm just saying carbs are wonderful. Okay, and then number 6 footnote. This statistical analysis incorporates 95% confidence level or margin of error as the North American database does not include every single DNA sequence of North American forensic significance, which would require the typing of every individual in the population. See Exhibit B, statistical reporting for in-depth information regarding confidence levels. Interesting. So I do like how they are, again, just going through and they are dotting all their I's and crossing all their T's and really making sure that there is no way for this man to wiggle out, at least on these 4. And hopefully they are finding links to get him on the other ones, or if they are not related to him and we had, in the weirdest case, 2 separate serial offenders doing bad things at the same time, hopefully this lights a fire under them to find the other person who is doing this. Forensic Laboratory 2 then compared the profile associated with the DNA sample from Heuermann's wife to one of the 2 aforementioned female hairs recovered from the remains of Miss Waterman, which also resulted in the conclusion that mitochondrial DNA profiles are the same at all compared position common to and between samples, specifically at a rate that would, as per the EMPOP database, exclude 99.69 giggity, Baker's not here, I have to say that, of the North American population from the hair recovered on Miss Waterman. Based on the foregoing, while 99.98% of North American population can be excluded from the female hair on Costello and 99.69 giggity of the North American population are excluded from female hair on Waterman, it is significant that RH's wife cannot be excluded from either female hairs recovered on the remains of Megan Waterman and Amber Costello. As previously noted, defendant Hierman's wife was out of the state at the time Miss Waterman and Miss Costello's murders and disappearance. As such, it is likely that the burlap tape and vehicles and or other instruments utilized in the furtherance of these murders came from defendant Hierman's residence, where his wife also resides, or was transferred from his clothing. So that is really interesting. Male hair linked to defendant Hierman. During the initial examination of Miss Waterman's skeletal remains and burlap materials, the Suffolk County Crime Laboratory was able to recover a male hair from the bottom of the burlap used to wrap Miss Waterman by her killer, hereinafter male hair on Waterman. An initial examination of said hair revealed Caucasian European characteristics. However, the hair was unsuitable for further DNA analysis at the time by Suffolk County Crime Laboratory. This hair was subsequently submitted for further DNA analysis, and on or about July 31st, 2020, Forensic Laboratory 1 was able to generate a DNA profile for the hair recovered on the bottom of the burlap sack. Specifically, Forensic Laboratory 1 determined that this hair belonged to a male in the mitochondrial haplogroup V7a. Interesting. I'm learning all the information, the haplogroups and other things. I'm going to be pre-DNA analysis too. Following the discovery of the Chevrolet Avalanche, which was registered to defendant Hierman, and investigation of cellular billing records and other items on or about January 26, 2023, a surveillance team observed and recovered a pizza box thrown out by defendant Rex A. Hierman into a trash can located in the front of 385 Fifth Avenue in Manhattan. I like that they took a picture of the trash can. We'll be here. Yeah, I know, real life interrupting a stream, blasphemy. Yeah, and who doesn't eat the crust? It's not like he was protecting his girlish figure. I mean, we've seen pictures of the man. Sir, are you even a New Yorker? I don't know. This box was sent to Suffolk County Crime Laboratory for analysis, where a swab was taken from leftover pizza crust. On or about March 23, 2023, the Suffolk County Crime Laboratory sent a swab from the pizza crust abandoned by the defendant Hierman to Forensic Laboratory Number 2. On or about April 28, 2023, a detective hand-delivered from Forensic Laboratory 1 a portion of male hair on Waterman to Forensic Laboratory 2 for testing. Yeah, it really is a red flag if you don't finish the crust. I mean, unless you're like you have a partner like me who loves crusts and in your great and wonderful, givingness, you give me your crusts. It's the basis for Mr. Mo and mine's relationship. He gives me extra carbs. And I like that they hand delivered it. I like that they have a chain of custody. I mean, again, they are closing any loopholes that this man and his defense can use to say, well, it was kind of loosey goosey. We don't know if you fiddle farted with this. Why did you send it to a lab? Who did you send it to? I mean, they really are closing all the loopholes that this person could possibly use in his defense. And even though we have to assume he is not guilty right now, for all intents and purposes, it's not looking good for him. On or about June 12th, 2023, Forensic Laboratory 2 was able to determine as to the male hair on Waterman and the swab from the pizza crust that mitochondrial DNA profiles are the same, specifically at a rate that would, per the EMPOP database, exclude 99.96% of the North American population from the hair on Waterman. Based on foregoing, while 99.96% of the North American population can be excluded from the male hair on Waterman, it is significant that defendant Hierman cannot be excluded from the male hair. So I really like how they are. I know. I really like how they are using the DNA not to as a smoking gun, but as an exclusionary method. I think that is, again, you're using the DNA in a way that is not kinda shady. Like, we've seen some prosecutors say, "There's no way, he's the only one." I do like that they're using excluded and included and really being quite thorough. Um, sorry. Recovered near the bottom of the burlap used to restrain and transport Megan Waterman's naked body. He didn't even let them have I mean, I don't know about you, but that would be my worst nightmare, and, of all the things to have a worst nightmare about, it is, it it is being found somewhere nude in public while dead. Because I don't want my family to have to deal with my nudeness. I don't Look, y'all, I'm a prude when it comes to my family. Like, I don't want my mom to have to it's just terrible. It's just terrible. Oh, okay, well, that's good that you actually know the numbers because 99.96%, sounds pretty rock solid, but when you put it that way and in connection with the Weiss hair DNA, you know, while they're not conclusive to the point of like, it's 1 in a bajillion trillion, 3 times the world's population that you're gonna have another person. It's all these small things that they're using to really build the case that I'm really liking because we haven't seen this in a while. I mean, the hot mess that was the Ronald Border Patrol agent. W I mean, where they had all this evidence, but they put forth such a weird timeline, and they didn't go back, and they tried to use emotion. I like how they are doing very clear, concise things because it helps me understand this case a lot better than any of the prosecutors did in that case, especially Sir Talks-A-Lot. Arrest and search of Sherman and his residence and other locations. On or about the evening of July 13th, 2023, defendant Rex A. Hierman was arrested by Suffolk County police officers. Searches of his residence as well as other locations are currently ongoing. At the time of his arrest, defendant Hierman had on his person the burner cell phone blank that was linked to Thawk email account used to conduct online searches described above. Penalties. If convicted on the current charges, defendant Rex A. Hierman faces multiple sentences of life without parole. He's They're basically saying, "We're not going to give him bail." Yeah, I hope that I have not been able to find it, but I hope they'd come out with the list of all the things that was found in the search warrant. They have that information in an itemized list in the Delphi case that I will be doing a video about probably tomorrow. So I'm hoping that there will be a document dump on this. Now, I do know that generally document dumps have to go through a lot of kind of fighting back and forth as to whether or not the prosecution wants any of this information out, and the media saying, "Well, like, it's our right, we get to have this information." There are tons of those different kind of motions in the Delphi case. I mean, I'd say a good 15% of the document dumps were just, "Hey, we're the media, and we have a right to report," and the state saying, "Hey, we need to keep some of this confidential," and then the court kind of balancing both of those things and then making decisions. Remand without bail is appropriate based on the serious nature of these offenses, the strength of the people's case, the life incarceration defendant faces upon conviction, the extreme measures this defendant took to attempt to avoid apprehension for the extended period of time, the recent sadistic and child things, use of fictitious names, email and cell phone burner accounts, online counter surveillance, and access to history of possessing firearms. The people believe that the only means to ensure the defendant's return to court is to remain without bail. Yeah, I mean, honestly, this man, and I think it's been about 2 hours and 10 minutes, and with the tree guys here, I think I am going to stop this stream here. I will probably, do another stream tomorrow if you guys like this, and we will actually do the press conference that they had about 4 days ago, so it'll be 5 days ago, when we actually get to it. But I would like to continue, but, just to make sure that the boys don't run around with people with chainsaws, I'm gonna hop off of here. I will see you this evening for Granny Rants. She's has a come to Jesus for a couple people. The chat has spoken. I think the new name is Stella Rose. So she has a name. She is sassy, she is Southern, she is classy, and she's about to tell some people about themselves. Yes, we can do that too. I will get, the video of his arrest. That man is huge. I guess I forget that, Mr. Mo is so tall because I'm always around him. But yeah, it was funny to see him around the police officers because I was like, "This dude goes out of control. They are not gonna it's gonna take all of them to wrestle him down." Ooh, interesting. John Gary can be our man inside after the trial. He can tell us all the juicy bits of the trial. Yeah, I pray, and you know what, y'all? Keep those jurors in mind. I found myself after the whole controversy of, the autopsy thing, regardless of how you feel about it, really putting regardless of if you believe in prayer or not, I'm just saying in your thoughts, send out to the universe, what have you. But the jurors and the first responders that have to see these terrible things all the time, or, in the course of the case, really, if you keep them in your thoughts and prayers, there's a lot of, like, ripple victims in a crime like this. I mean, you have the first responders, you have the jurors, you have for the okay, the good prosecutors, you have the investigators, the detectives. So I've been trying to, in my bid to be a better, more Steve-like Christian, Steve Gosney-like Christian, I have been adding those people to my prayers. But, I'm a mouthy redhead, so I don't know how much God listens, but, just keep them in your thoughts. Sometimes I think us, commentators or semi-professional YouTubers, we can get caught up in the story and the new information, and it's easy to forget that to some people, this is an interesting thing. It's a trauma thing, and keeping that in mind, I think that keeps us, grounded, and hopefully the rest of crime tubers, which is why I am a lay tuber, y'all, will keep that in mind, and maybe for the most part, a lot of people have respect, so it's just them couple. It's always them couple that just ruins everything. But I will see you guys later. I will set up the stream for tomorrow, and hopefully you guys will be there. Now I do know that I don't know if anyone else is on, and until I am monetized, I cannot redirect you, but hopefully you have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow, and we will go through the press conference and him getting arrested, and perhaps they will have a little bit, and maybe they'll have some news about the search and what was found. Again, I respect that they are probably trying to keep this close to their chests and, really cross their T's and dot their I's So, I will see y'all later. Have a great day. Do one difficult thing, even if it is just, texting a friend you haven't talked to in a while, going out to Walmart. Us non-peopling people need to do one peopling thing a day. So, have a great day, and I'll see you later.